Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a watch launched in 2022, the latest in a long and distinguished line dating back to 1948. This is the IWC Pilot's Watch Mark 20 from the Pilot Collection. This goes all the way back to the British Ministry of Defense Pilot's Watches made by many, including IWC. But this timepiece is the longest lasting in that series, as just about no one else involved in the original Mark 11 contract is still making watches in this style. It is hugely upgraded compared to the types of marks that we were getting even just 5 years ago. This is the new reference 3282-01, and the upgrades are unimaginable. 40 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel, 11 millimeters thickened from lug to lug, a fairly large 49.2 millimeters. You can see there's a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs, so the watch remains quite wearable. Throwing it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, IWC Pilot's watches are no longer 35 to 36 millimeters as they might have been historically, but 40 millimeters in 2023 is by no means oversized. You could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference, though not any smaller, due to the unusually broad 49 plus millimeter lug to lug dimension. That said, it is quite flat with a stepped and sloped bezel. This will fit underneath a dress cuff. It's just formal enough that it could be your dress watch. Now, taking a look at the buckle, very simple. IWC branded, a combination of polish and satin, and we have longitudinal satin across the top, vertical satin and profile with a little bit of subtle faceting. You can see that in the profile. And then there is a polished bevel that runs all the way around with the pin in the buckle being polished, contrast with the buckle itself. And I love how there's a little recess in the buckle for the pin. Attention to detail matters. The strap, pilot style, is calfskin, and you can see that it is a matte finish, no crimping, no gouging, brand new IWC factory strap made in Austria. On the bottom you can see calfskin again, and on the top you can see that there's a little bit of a binding stitch to give it an aviator style. What's surprising here is that there's now a quick release system, and IWC is doing things the right way. This is the Ease Exchange strap, literally Ease Exchange. I'll just call it the Easy Exchange. But it's a push-button system that allows you to quickly and easily remove the strap from the case, and I'll demonstrate how this works here. You just push it down, and if you have more of a fingernail than I do, it becomes very simple to do. But what's great is it's a conventional lug spacing of 20 millimeters with a conventional spring bar. So a lot of quick release strap systems from other brands force you into some sort of proprietary lug strap junction. That means you can only buy the brand's own straps. Here, you can definitely do that, but you can fit any standard 20 millimeter strap that works with spring bars, and that is an awful lot. And the nice thing is it snaps right back into place, very easy to replace the strap that you remove. The case is very familiar. A lack of change in the Mark series is a good thing because it's the most traditional of the IWC Pilot's Watch lines. We have a screw-down crown. You can see the IWC logo and Proboscifusia motto. Of course, IWC, a good solid watch made in Schaffhausen. These have since 1868 been made in northeastern Switzerland, where they speak German, and IWC is by far the largest German-Swiss watchmaker. We have more water resistance than in the past. Previous Mark series watches would have been at best 60 meters water resistant. Now the case is 100 meters water resistant. This is one of the big upgrades I was talking about. You can see there's some subtlety to the case. There's an expanding bevel that runs very subtly through the mid case, then flares a bit over the lug hoods. There's a circular concentric brushing across the lug hoods in the case top, and then satination in the mid case. You can also appreciate that the bezel is somewhat stepped in from the case band to create a visually thinner watch, with a short vertical face, then a conical profile, then a super flat edge that abuts the Sapphire, which has a domed profile, instrument style dials, so matte black base to resist glare, with an AR coating, and then white on black instrument style printing with broadsword hands at center and a white varnished lancet style seconds hand. We'll do a quick loom shot so you can get a good sense of the watch in the dark. You can see it's loomed on the hour and minute hands, and then also at the quarters. And then we've got a couple of subsidiary setting modes here. I've got a hacking seconds function, so if I wish, I can set the watch precisely against a reference time. By the way, the stem assembly is very, very solid. There's no tendency for this to rock or wobble. That's not always the case, even with very expensive watches. And of course, if I wish, I have a quick set for this date, so I can rapidly set it. But that's not the huge upgrade I was talking about. There are two huge upgrades on this watch. One is the 100-meter water resistance. The other is the power reserve of the movement. In just 5 years, we've seen the power reserve from the Mark watches go from barely 2 days to a full 5. Think about that for a moment. 5 days of power reserve. That used to be the domain of ultra-exclusive haute horlogerie pieces. Now you get it on the most basic IWC pilot's watch, or I should say the most elemental and core IWC pilot's watch. Now you can see it has a screwed-in case back. There's a couple things going on. There's anti-magnetic protection for the balance and the hairspring assembly, as well as the escapement. And then we also have a Junkers tri-motor on the back. IWC actually owns one and uses it for promotion. That's why it's the aircraft you see. We have several different finishes with polishing, media blasting, and satination. The movement, which goes by the name 32111, is admittedly a Volflurier movement that's made by a company Richemont, the parent of IWC owns. Volflurier makes a lot of movements for Richemont company brands. And so automatic with 120 hours of power reserve, the stop seconds, the quick set date, it's still a 4 hertz beat rate, so 28,800 vibrations per hour, 21 joules. Lots to love about this movement, which allows the watch to be nice and thin. And then we also have an interesting feature whereby all of the seals of the watch, as well as the crystal, are secured against accidental displacement, that is blowout, in the event you're in an aircraft cabin that explosively decompresses. Lots to love. Sometimes luxury is about getting more than you expect and more than you need. So reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing.